What, might I ask, is the secret recipe to fill your heart with gratitude this Thanksgiving holiday? Not turkeys getting pardoned, but realizing that even our annual traditions are now hijacked for political buffoonery. While we're trying to focus on thankfulness, our president is throwing punches at governors and calling people fat slobs and turning what used to be the Rose Garden into a campaign rally. And just when you think he's done, he always has more to say. More insults, more gaslighting, more of the same old shtick. So I've got a serious question to ask. How can you not be sick of this yet? Hello everyone, and welcome to another supplemental installment of Back Porch Files from your neighbor on the left, a podcast about liberal politics, human decency, and life on the blue side of America's ideological divide. My name is Don Spielis, your opinionated host. Let me start off by saying I hope that everyone listening had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Today I want to start with what was supposed to be the most benign, low-stakes presidential moment of the year. The turkey pardon. Every Thanksgiving, presidents spare 2 turkeys and make a brief, mostly ceremonial speech. But that's not how it happens when the president is Donald Trump. Instead of just cracking jokes with the birds, gobble and waddle, Trump turned the ceremony into a full-blown political roast. He joked he almost named the turkeys Chuck and Nancy, as in Schumer and Pelosi, but then remembered he wouldn't actually pardon them. He also claimed Biden's turkey pardons last year were totally invalid because of the auto pen. Y-A-W-N. That's not a Thanksgiving anecdote. That's a rehashed grievance dressed up for a holiday. Then came the most striking part. He pivoted to crime in Chicago, because what else harkens pilgrims and Native Americans having a feast than crime in Chicago? He referenced a horrifying incident, a woman set on fire in a Chicago L train, and used it as a prop in his narrative about chaos in the city, calling for federal intervention. The holidays are here. He blamed Illinois leaders for refusing to help, painting Pritzker, the governor, as obstructive. And then, the insults. He said the mayor is incompetent and the governor is a big fat slob. What makes this especially ridiculous, Trump claims he refuses to make jokes about Pritzker's weight. He says this in the same speech. I don't talk about people being fat. He says, I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it. But of course, he is mentioning it. He's saying exactly that. And, he says, I'd like to lose a few pounds too, which is as close to he gets as to the concept of the pot calling the kettle black, but goes on to say it won't be happening for him this Thanksgiving. The whole thing is just cheap. Threaten the insult, deny you want to say it, then say it anyway, all under the guise of restraint. It's gaslighting, unless, of course, perhaps the president thinks it's humor. Either way, it's really neither the time nor the place. Beyond the insults, he uses the moment to push long-standing themes. Crime in blue cities, his supposed tough-on-crime posture, and a constant narrative that, his administration is the only one that can make America safe again. Especially, by sending federal forces to those cities. Now, these aren't new lines. He's been screaming them for months, if not longer. But the repetition at a Thanksgiving event just underscores how uninventive he is. Every holiday, every symbolic moment, it turns into a pop-up rally. So next, the second example of why we should all be collectively groaning, a New York Times article came out suggesting that Trump may be slowing down. Among the key points in that article, he's made 39% fewer public appearances as compared to the same period in his first term. His schedule starts later in the day now. The average first event starts after noon, whereas in his first term, he was routinely up earlier. There was a mention of a moment where he appeared to doze off during an Oval Office event. This is an event happening with photographic and video documentation. The reporting also noted that he underwent an MRI recently, which of course raises more questions, especially since no one's actually come out and said what this MRI was for, and that his physical and cognitive fitness are now under mounting scrutiny. Basically, the article is, raising a red flag. Maybe, just maybe, being 79 and in the grind of a second term is not totally frictionless. Perhaps the president might just be feeling his age. And not that anyone was surprised, we got Trump's classic response. He goes off. He calls it a hit piece. He doubles down on how hard he's working. I have never worked so hard in my life. Then he brags about how he passed a perfect physical exam and a comprehensive cognitive test recently, and he aced it. Without acknowledging that such tests don't always measure what really matters, like real-world stamina or executive function under stress. But of course, he doesn't stop there. He has to attack one of the two authors, female Katie Rogers, calling her a third-rate reporter who is ugly both inside and out. He also labels the New York Times the radical left lunatics and creeps. What's so telling here is how reflexively he attacks on a personal level, especially when faced with any suggestion of weakness. Rather than engage with substance, he goes for demeaning the journalist. Again. And what I'm personally trying to figure out is that with all the people around him, why is it that no one has explained to him yet that these tantrums that he throws, tantrums about the New York Times or Jimmy Kimmel or Saturday Night Live, or the list goes on, that these tantrums make more people seek those things out? How many more people went to read that article after his Truth Social tantrum? This is the same pattern. A challenging report, denial, deflection, personal attacks. It's not just a defense, it's performance. It's self-defeating. And for anybody paying attention, it's just exhausting. So the reason that I bring up these two moments, the turkey pardon rant and the Truth Social eruption, because they have something in common beyond just being performative. They underscore how reflexive his political style is. Insult, exaggerate, deflect. They show he's not interested at all in nuance. He weaponizes every opportunity, regardless of what that opportunity is supposed to be. They highlight that his rallies in disguise don't pause even on holidays. And they confirm the pattern when challenged, whether on policy or age or health or whatever. He doesn't respond with substance. He responds with an insult. And maybe most importantly, they confirm that he is out of material. If you went to see a favorite comedian a second time and heard all the same jokes, it wouldn't be as funny. Hearing the same lies about ending 8 wars and no inflation isn't any more believable the 400th time he bloviates about it. So here's the question I need an answer to. Isn't this getting old? Like even to MAGA folks or people who generally support him or the folks who at least tolerate him, is the endless cycle of name-calling and over-the-top indignation actually really anything more than a bore at this point? He repeats the same grievances. They're stopping me from doing big things. They're incompetent. Only I can fix this. And the attacks always end up being personal, fat, ugly, leftist, loonies, creeps. This is his go-to playbook. Does it still work? Hasn't the novelty just worn off, leaving behind frustration, fatigue, and, I don't know, maybe even a little dread? For listeners like us, it's infuriating because it's transparent. It's the only thing about this administration that's transparent. We see right through it. For his base, I don't know, maybe it still energizes some people. But how many times can you hear the same crap before it starts to feel stale? Even if it's crap you like. Doesn't it feel stale or let's be honest, a little embarrassing at this point? And for the rest of the country, it's a weird kind of passive-aggressive theater. You can almost predict exactly how he's going to respond at any given time. It's not strategy anymore. It's like autopilot, and an autopilot that resembles the inflatable one from the movie Airplane, not some high-tech gadget. So, as we sit with this, let's not just laugh at the spectacle. Ask yourself, when was the last time something he said actually surprised you? When was the last time he admitted genuinely that he was wrong about something? I mean, has that ever happened? And how much of this is just stale performance at this point rather than anything that resembles reality or leadership? Look, the turkey got pardoned, but it wasn't alone. What also got pardoned was the idea that a moment of levity could actually stay light in the Trump administration. That a holiday message could just be light, maybe even frivolous, and, God forbid, non-political. Instead, it turned into another opportunity to punch and mock and prattle. And the New York Times piece, yeah, he might bristle and fire off insults, but the fact that he's still doing the same tired routine, even when someone points out that he's slowing down, kind of tells you everything you need to know. It's not just what he says, it's how he responds. The repetition, the reflexivity, it's not power, it's inertia. So, how can you not be sick of this yet? Maybe it's because it's easy to tune out, but hard to feel like there's any change. Maybe because we're all too busy living through it to catch our breath. But near or far, in the audience or backstage, it's the same old show. Week after week, turkey after turkey, rant after rant. And whether or not he's slowing down, I know this much is true. Whatever speed he's going in a circle. Thank you, everyone, for downloading this installment of Back Porch Files from your neighbor on the left. I'm so grateful for everyone who takes the time to listen. If you'd like to reach out to the podcast, you can do so either by using the social media accounts that the podcast has. The links to all of those are on the Linktree page, and the address to the Linktree page is in the podcast description, in the episode description. You can also reach out via email. The email address is neighboroTleftpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, regardless of what your feedback is. Please reach out to me. We'll be back this coming Tuesday with another full episode of Your Neighbor on the Left. So until then, stay kind, stay engaged, and have the kind of week you'd wish for others.